Alright, I'm going to start this Harley build. It's got S&S squirters in it. This is the second time putting it together. I actually bought a service manual this time so I can follow that a little closer, you know, so I don't blow the bearings out of it. So the first time, that's the main bearing. So I forgot there's a little spacer that goes in between the inner and the outer Timken bearings on the left side crankcase. Obviously this is the roller side. So I forgot that, and then the cage just ate each other up and got a bunch of heat in it. And so I had to press those off. We got new races on in the other side case. I'm losing my mind. The left side crankcase. So I pressed new races into that. Just pressed a new bearing onto the crankshaft itself. I'm gonna put it all together. There's O-rings that go behind here, then O-rings there, and then O-ring on that dowel pin, and then silicone that goes around the outside. I'm gonna try to document this, so in case I screw it up this time, then someone can come over and look at it and be like, yeah, you forgot this, or something like that, you know, if I don't just throw it all away after the second time blowing it up. I got all new O-rings, even though I just put it back together. Just better safe than sorry. It's a part, you know. So yeah, that's where we're at. Doing it out in the shed, sweating my balls off, but yeah, that's what we gotta do. All right, so I got the crankcase together. I don't know if I showed that. Cam plate on. The cam plate is 90 to 120 inch-pounds for these bolts. These four are different. That's what holds the oil pump on. And you got to put the oil pump together a specific way. So there's that. You can pause that. Crankcase bolts were 15 to 19 foot-pounds. And then those four right there are different than the actual cam plate. So they were 90 to 120 inch-pound. Oh, that's for the alignment tool. That's what I did earlier. Yeah, so it's the same actually as that. And then there's like an O-ring like right here. So there you can see it. There's one right there, and then one right in there, and then there's a big one on the oil pump. So you put that one in, and then you slide the oil pump into it. Makes it a lot easier than trying to put on the oil pump and put it in there. I got the lifters in. Topped them off with some oil just sitting in there. A lot of people put the pistons in the jugs first and then put them on the rods. I already had them on the rods. I don't feel like messing with those clips. Kind of a pain in the ass. This O-ring is kind of small for this, but that's the closest one to fitting. I think it's like a James, the kit is called, I think. What is it? Yeah, James gasket or whatever. But yeah. So that's where we're at right now. I'm not impressed with those O-rings. So there's one there, and there, and then we gotta put the cam sprocket on, crankshaft sprocket, do that. But yeah, then don't lose these. So I got to pick in one, and I lost this. This comes with the other gasket set that I got when I got the bike together, or when I bought the bike. It came with that kit. This kit, the Ultimate gasket kit, but it came with these. But yeah, next step. All right, so I started lacking a little bit on filming, but there's an O-ring that goes on the dowel pins for the jugs for each side. The kit that I got, like they didn't have four the same size. This kit's pretty awful actually. So I reused two of the old ones because they still look pretty good. They weren't flattened out. And then I put two of the new ones that look decent on there. And then there's a big O-ring that goes around the base of the cylinder of the jug. Do that, slap those on. It's kind of a pain to do the rings. I did it. Took like a pick and you push them in and slide the cylinder down over it. It's a little bit of a pain. They seem to go up fine. I don't think any rings hanging. Torque to spec, I think it's like 90 inch-pounds and like 155 inch-pounds. Then you do a quarter of a turn on the bolt. You do the short ones first, so 1, 2, and come back to the tall one, 3, 4, and you keep doing that. That's the torque spec. Just tighten up the lifter covers here. There's a rod that holds the lifter in from spinning. It's just a round rod. It's So I was trying to figure that out when I first put it together. Just throwing these on. These back ones are pretty tight. Pretty much got to put an Allen head in there, a wrench, or if you have ball sockets, it probably should work. Do that. And then these, they have a different set. I don't know if these ones are right. I got to measure them before I torque them down. But there's a long, short, and intermediate. It says in the book. So these are the longs back here, and then these are all intermediates on these. But I'm pretty sure these shorts are the wrong one. I'm pretty sure this is the right length versus, let me put one out real quick. All right, that's two of the shorts. Oh, there's the little bit longer one, and then here's the longest one. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to order a spacer for my cam. There's only supposed to be 10 thousandths difference between the face of each gear, and I can see the difference, so that's definitely more than 10 thousandths. And then place these O-rings up here. You can see this one's trying to pop out because it's too big. One of the ones that's actually too big. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this kit. Got that. But yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I think. And then there's a gasket that goes under the head, obviously, for head gasket. And then there's another one that goes on top of the rocker, or underneath the rocker box, or right there. There's a gasket that goes in there. Make sure there's like an oil galley that goes. Make sure you put the gasket on the side that's going to cover that up so it seals it. I think that's where I'm at right now. So yeah, I'm gonna put it all together, but I'm gonna wait for that because obviously I got to put that spacer in, or maybe I can find it in the parts of all this shit. But yep, that's where we're at so far. All right, so the cam plate I had to pull back off because I thought I left the O-ring off the oil pump. Turns out I didn't, so I pulled that off. So I had to take all the lifters, push rods out again. So that's kind of a pain. So back to where I was with that. But yep. Then one of those bolts is stripped out on me. In the service manual it says 90 to 120 inch-pounds, so I just went with 120 inch-pounds, and it was not. I couldn't handle that. So the rest are all the 90. It was the very first one I did. It was 120, and it stripped it out. But I think it'll be all right. It still has some pressure on it. It just started spinning a little bit. But yeah, that's where we're at with this. I just got two bolts holding the motor in. One down there and one on the top left there. I don't have the front motor mounts in. Got to figure out the cam spacing also. Call SNS, see if they got the kit. These are SNS cams. Maybe that's why it stripped out also, because who knows how many times this cam plate's been off. But yeah, that's it. Alright, so I didn't get to film much of the engine being put back together, but probably got a couple hundred miles on the bike now. It's kind of still just thrown together, but I wanted to ride it, so that's where I'm at. So I got the wrong battery. I looked it up online. They said this is one, but the positive is supposed to be on the other side, so I can't put the battery cover on, so that's in the way. Got some zip ties thrown on there for any special requirements that may pop up. Cables just thrown together. Like, I got a lot of finishing work. These cables are for those little apes, so they're too long. And then when I was going down the road, the fork seal blew out. So I was just getting coated with oil on my leg. Like, I thought it was from the engine, but I looked all over. And I noticed that it was on the down leg of the frame here. So lucked out, and it's just the fork seal. So no leaks out of the engine or primary cover so far. I mean, there's oil all over it from this blowing on it, but see the horn and stuff. All the brakes work good. Runs really good. My buddy, he has a 103 Fat Boy, and this blows it away. So those cams definitely wake these things up a ton. So now I'm trying to convince him to get some cams for his 103. But so I guess there's like a plug that, well, the plug that goes in the speedometer, there's like, I'm missing a piece that actually holds it in, because just a plug and they can slip in and out. There's nothing that holds it on the back of the speedometer itself. So I need to address that, see what part I need for that. Just got some Ori grips on it. off a dirt bike. They're made in the USA. I always ran them on my 4-wheelers and stuff and dirt bikes, so I put those on. I had to get a different throttle tube. Yeah, definitely needs a rear tire. As you can see, that thing's pretty flat from someone doing burnouts. Wasn't me, actually. More fork oil all over things. I gotta clean it up, but yeah, it's been really fun. I've had a Nightster, an 06 Nightster, no, it was 07 Nightster, and an 06 Wide Glide. They were fun, but this is, well, the Nightster is nimble, but I was just a little too big for it. My feet would hit off the exhaust. This fits me a lot more, so I like this. And it's carbureted, so it's kind of cool. I like that type of thing. It doesn't have rear signals. I had to make this little seat bracket, and that came out hideous, but for some reason someone took it off the seat. I don't know if they threw it on another bike the guy bought it from. Rotor is pretty shot. Definitely a hoopty bike for sure, but I'm having fun with it. I had to make the lower bracket. I just took a piece of steel and then drilled holes in it, folds them together, and then a piece of angle that holds it right here, and then the hose clamp goes through it to hold it to that. So that's kind of janky, but air filter housing, I don't know what you want to call them for these, but that's coming apart. The bottom plate, the same as this one, that blew off. It only has 1 bolt in it, but for it being a hoopty, it goes pretty good. Sorry I didn't film more. I did a couple stupid things. So I pulled the cam plate out because I saw the big O-ring that goes on the back of the cam plate where it bolts to the oil pump. I'm like, shit. So I thought I forgot that. So I pulled the cam plate out, and then I had to redo the push rods because the lifters dropped, obviously. I didn't think. I don't know. Yeah. 6'7" Ford guy just right in the hammer, just barely getting by a water truck. But anyways, so I did that, so that took more time than it needed to be. Just got some hose clamps. I need to get the actual clamps that go on those so I can bolt that cover plate on. There's 2 bolts snapped off in there. I guess that's what holds the exhaust on a dyno. I don't really know, but that's where, because I have another set of exhaust pipes, and that's where they lined up to go on there. Pipes need to be polished and stuff. Just a lot of cleaning up, little dings and nicks. You know, it's a 20-year-old bike, and it's definitely been passed through some hands, I'm sure, but it's fun. I like it. Trying to think of any suggestive tips if you're building one. Just get the service manual. I think my primary chain needs to be tightened up a little bit. It kind of like clunks when you slow down and take off again, so I think I got to take some of the slack out of there. It says, I think, a 1/2 inch in the manual, and that's what I did, but maybe it loosened up again. I don't know. But yeah, maybe if you're gonna do it, just get some S&S cams, because this thing goes pretty good. I think they're 585s, I'm pretty sure. And just watch out for that. Always zip tie a bandana to it, and then that'll just constantly leak oil all over you. But yeah, thanks for watching. Probably won't do a whole lot of Harley content, but just a video, throw it out there, of my hoopty dyna. But yeah, thanks for watching.